Today on Fresno State Focus, we look at what's happening in Armenia. We'll give you all the information you need to know about the continuing conflict.
Also, just in, time for election. Fresno State is doing a voting registration drive-through. We'll take a look at where this will be going on.
Plus, we'll start our new Trend Watch series with a look at great new organic products for the home and bath. Fresno State Focus starts now. Hello and welcome to Fresno State Focus. I'm Ana Cruz Lopez.
And I'm Cameron Foster. We begin today by showing you the power of community. There are a lot of people in our community in pain because of the wildfires, racial injustice, and conflict.
We'd like to show you some examples of people helping their neighbor.
We'll start with the fire in eastern Fresno County. Thurman Orthodontics in Fresno is helping those affected by the Creek Fire up in the Sierra National Forest. The staff at Thurman Orthodontics wanted to help Creek Fire evacuees and firefighter staff donate items that were in need, like food and anything evacuees needed. Soon, patients wanted to be a part of this too, so the Thurman team turned their office into a donation drop-off.
So for a couple weeks, we had people dropping off items like blankets and clothes and diapers and wipes, socks, whatever the need was for that day.
The team at Thurman Orthodontics is doing a donation program to support local firefighters and first responders for National First Responders Day later this month on the 28th. They will donate $5 for each new patient that starts a treatment in the month of October. The Creek Fire is currently 55% contained, but the dry and warm weather could be an added challenge for the firefighters. Smoke is also expected to drift back into the area. Samantha Cortez will have more on your weather coming up soon.
With the rising number of podcasts nowadays, Fresno State is getting into the action. The focus of this one is to help Fresno State students of color. 2020 continues to be a year of racial injustice and protests. That's why the Fresno State Men's Success Initiative created a podcast to highlight these important issues. These Men's Success podcast talks with community leaders about important issues and offers empowering programs for students. Host Jerry Gomez wanted to create a way to reach out to Fresno State's diverse campus.
These conversations were already happening about what can we do to support men, especially our men of color, like to provide more support, to have conversations on social justice so that they can, be empowered.
This podcast may have been targeted for men, but it is inclusive to all people of color looking for a safe place to talk about important social justice issues.
Growing conflict has the Fresno Armenian community fearing new violence in their homeland.
Julius Graham interviewed Fresno State alumni and Armenian TV host Tatevik Azekian. Here's what you need to know about the Armenian and Azerbaijan conflict.
The dispute between Armenia and Azerbaijan is about territory, a mountainous region called Nagorno-Karabakh. Karabakh, also known to Armenians as Artsakh, lies within Azerbaijan, but has historically been occupied by ethnic Armenians and under the control of ethnic Armenian forces since the end of the Separatist War in 1994.
Azerbaijan seems to have this interesting feeling of ownership over the land, which was never really theirs to begin with. So to put it bluntly, it's like if I take something away from you and you come back and get it back from me, I get mad at you because you took back something that was never, really mine to begin with.
Fighting periodically breaks out around Karabakh's border, but the long simmering feud came to a head on September 27th. Hundreds of people, some military and many civilians, have been killed and hurt in these attacks.
The crimes that are being perpetrated are against civilians, innocent people that are living in the area. It's their home. They're being driven out essentially just to try and survive. This is a humanity issue.
This monument on Fresno State campus was built to remember those who lost their lives in the Armenian genocide over 100 years ago. Many believe that Turkey is trying to continue the genocide because of their involvement in today's dispute.
A what makes today or this war more severe and different than the others is the X factor that I call it, and that's Turkey. Now, for some whatever reason, they've taken a very active part in joining Azerbaijan, fueling Azerbaijan to continue with their efforts to try to, for some reason, regain their territory.
The death toll has reached about 600, and the fighting continues despite the ceasefire that was announced over the weekend. In Fresno, Jalise Graham, Fresno State Focus.
An estimated of 70,000 people have been displaced. Many local groups, including Fresno State's Armenian Students Organizations, are collecting supplies and fundraising to provide humanitarian aid to Armenia. You can help them by donating at armeniafund.org.
Now let's go to the election. If we were on campus right now, we'd be seeing lots of signs, Bulldogs Vote 2020. It helps students register to vote or drop off their ballot. This year, there will be a drive-through event October 17th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. This will be at the corner of Cedar and Barstow. Voting is one of the most impactful things you can do for your community.
Our primary goal is to just increase voter turnout this year. Obviously, 2020 is shaping up to be a very important election, as is every year.
Yeah.
But our goal is primarily to remain nonpartisan as well, too. So inviting people from all different sides, all walks of life, not giving favor to anyone. So just really trying to be nonpartisan and just have an open and welcoming event.
Your voice can be powerful. We have this privilege in a free country, and now it's time to make it heard.
With Election Day getting closer and closer, some people, mainly students, are still confused on which president candidate to choose from and why they should go out and vote. Today, we hear from Professor Jamesbourne, Department of Media, Communications, and Journalism, and former executive editor of the Fresno Bee. And so today I was just going to ask you a few questions about the upcoming election, because it is around the corner. And so I wanted some input on how this election, how do you think it's going and why is it important?
Great, sure. And thank you, Cameron. I appreciate you reaching out to me. So clearly, anytime you have a presidential election, it's an important election. And this one is even more important because, we have this divided time in our nation. We have all these crises. 2020 has been incredibly newsworthy from all these different ways, not just the election, but also with COVID. And as you well know, as a student, it's really turned life upside down. And for all of us, so it's time. Every 4 years we have an opportunity to elect a president. We elect our members of House of Representatives every 2 years, and our U.S. Senator every 6 years. So there's a lot going on, and even more so, there's a lot going on at the local level that really sometimes impacts us more. For example, there's school bonds to build new school facilities. There's city council elections throughout the valley. There's school board elections. There's all sorts of elections that are very important to our community. So we're electing people at the local and state and national level. It's just an important time. And then the other thing is that while we are a divided nation right now, maybe as divided as we've ever been, at least in the last several decades. This is the time in a democracy, and so if there's some phony content, we'll accept it and maybe even pass it on social media because we think, well, that person would do that. No, you got to check it all out and make sure it's legitimate. And I think in this day and age, we have all the tools at our disposal if we just use them.
That was Professor Jamesbourne of the Department of Media, Communications, and Journalism at Fresno State. He's also the director of Fresno State Institute for Media and Public Trust.
The presidential election may be 3 weeks away, but the deadline to register to vote online is October 19th. People can still fill out the same day registrations in person at an election office or polling place. So this year, there's no excuse not to vote. If you can, please go out and vote. It will determine the future for the next 4 years.
Every vote counts, so please go out and vote. You can drop it out of Dropbox, you can mail it in, or you can deliver it in person. 2 Fresno locals repurpose other people's junk, turn it into new great products. We'll introduce you to the crafty team.
Well, it's a bit breezy out. We will be seeing warmer than usual weather this week. Stay tuned to find out what that's looking like. Up next on Fresno State Focus.
Here in the valley, our colors are blue and our waves are red. Bulldog born and bulldog bred. Generations linked forever by traditions that have stood the test of time. Inside our stadiums, we are one. This is our valley, and this year, we're doing it for you.
Success. At Fresno State, it's no secret. It's discovering new ways to change our world. It's creating opportunities as diverse as our community itself. It's in the distinction of our graduates as they lead us into the future. Success is no secret at Fresno State. It's our mission.
I got the Bulldog spirit up in my head.
Up in my head. Up in my head.
I got that Bulldog spirit up in my head. Up in my head to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit deep in my heart. Deep in my heart.
Deep in my heart.
Got that Bulldog spirit deep in my heart.
Deep in my heart to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit.
Down in my toes. Down in my toes. Down in my toes. I got that Bulldog spirit.
Down in my toes. Hey.
Down in my toes to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit up in my head, deep in my heart, down in my toes. I got that Bulldog spirit all over me to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit
Deep in my heart.
deep in my heart, deep in my heart. I got that Bulldog spirit.
With the extended summer, like heat coupled with harsh fire seasons, many people are talking about climate change this year. In our Trend Watch, one up and coming Valley business owner wants to do her part in staying eco-friendly. April Lomas is the owner of Noel Divine Candles. She makes clean burning candles and other bath and body products, uses glass or metal containers instead of plastic, and even uses recycled water-soluble packing peanuts for shipping. She always looking for ways to stay as environmentally friendly as she possibly can while running her business.
When you're a wife and a mother and you're working, you have your focus is always on someone else. This is relaxation for me. This is like my therapy, my woosah. Like I actually enjoy it.
Lomas is excited to launch her Black-owned, environmentally friendly, all-natural business soon. To find out more details about her business, head on over to FresnoStateFocus.com.
One person's unwanted items can be someone else's treasure. Raina Kimball takes repurposing to a different measure. Isha Paria shows us more.
Raina Kimball loves the process of creating. For her, it's about the transformation of taking something already made into something new. Using fewer resources, Kimball refurbishes old headboards into benches, giving them a new life.
Like anything that you look at can be broken down into shapes. And if you can create those shapes and then put them together, you have a finished product.
She finds used headboards on Facebook Market, OfferUp, on the side of the road, and even the dumpster.
Those things were going to be picked up and put in the trash, and they were going to go to a landfill somewhere. They were either going to be burned or they were going to be, broken down or wood chipped.
Kimball starts the refurbish process with a sketch, then gets the materials and tools she needs for the job. Like Raina, Manuel Martinez is also an upcycler. He reconditions furniture he finds at a thrift store, he builds things around his home, and has a side job as a handyman. For both, tools like a simple tape measure and screws can help get the job done.
Go to the store, you see it, you're like, okay, it needs some work. The wood is already stained, the wood, it's chipping, the varnish is chipping. So you you're like, okay, there's potential in that.
Kimball says it takes time to see goals come to life from start to finish, especially during sanding.
It's easier to sand things before you attach them all, and I do all my measurements to build out the frame.
Kimball sells her creations on Instagram. She posts pictures of the raw headboard, and customers get to choose the color and the wood stain.
After you paint it, you can really see it take shape and like, oh, that's a bench, and it's, you know, sleek and straight and nice. And voila, we have a bench.
In this case, being benched is not so bad. Isha Padilla, Fresno State Focus.
Giving repurposing a try in our own homes, well, it might not be a bad idea.
This football season is different, but one Fresno home is keeping all the beer, food, and yelling that comes with it. These college students are still celebrating their tradition of beer and football. Fueled by wings and pizza, each team must select players who will hopefully lead them to a championship.
Usually we have a fantasy football draft party every year where we all come together and, you know, have some pizza, some drinks, spend some time with each other. But with COVID, we really didn't know if we were going to have a football season, let alone this year. But that wasn't going to stop us from drafting this year.
But these fantasy team owners also understand the concerns about COVID-19 and have added precautions to their draft day so they can be safe but still have fun. With November right around the corner, it doesn't really feel like football weather.
Let's go to Sammy Cortez with our focus on weather.
I'm Samantha Cortez with your focus on weather. Let's start off with some beauty shots of our current weather outside.
We have a nice breeze outside with very bright blue skies. It's a beautiful day to go sit out outside. You might feel that wind gust blowing, but it's nothing too terrible. Looking at the national satellite here Thursday is looking like a relatively dry day across the majority of the nation. There will be a few on and off showers, at least in areas near the Great Lakes. For a lot of people, this is some good news because it won't be raining and you can go outside and enjoy the nice weather. But here in the West, we're going to be a bit concerned at how dry it is because we still have those ongoing fires. Towards the end of this week, we will see some rain in the northeast areas near Boston and Philadelphia, which will go all the way down through the Virginias and Carolinas. As we take a closer look at areas near the Golden State, winds are expected to pick up until Friday afternoon. Warm, windy, and dry is our best description for the rest of this week, and officials note that those are perfect fire conditions. We have been put on a red flag warning until we start seeing calmer winds. Those winds will vary anywhere from 15 to 40 miles per hour across regions in California, giving even more opportunities for any of the current fires to pick up and sweep across those areas with high winds. As we take a look at the air quality, Kern, Tulare, and Fresno, pictured here in orange, are going to be unhealthy for sensitive groups, and the yellow areas will be moderate air quality. And when we look into this week's weather forecast, our highest temperatures here in Fresno will reach 90 degrees and will drop down to 61 degrees for our lows. Throughout the rest of the week, we can expect to see low 90s to mid 80s with low temperatures of mid 50s to 60s.
That's your focus on weather. Back to you, Cam and Anna.
The upcoming days will still stay hot, but we hope to soon see football-like weather.
It's still hot, so we still have to keep our sandals on, but in the upcoming weeks, it's going to be sweater weather. For many people, COVID quarantines means having a lot of extra time on their hands. Some keep saying they are so bored, others are busy getting creative. 12-year-old Rocio Mejia is missing school. She's missing having access to free art supplies. She has found a deeper passion for art during quarantine. With her allowance, she's been able to buy things she needs for her paintings. Every day brings new inspirations, from island sunsets to pink starry nights.
I started painting during quarantine because I really missed it, because we used to paint during the after school and Saturday program. So I decided to go to Dollar Tree and Walmart and buy the supplies, and then I just started painting afterwards.
And she keeps going. Rocio's taking it to the next level with some bigger projects. She is excited to be using her brand new brushes for it. Painting her dog's house will be a fun project. If you like to be an artist anywhere you can canvas. All you need is a paintbrush and some inspiration.
With tattoo shops closed during COVID, artists were left trying to find a way to get their art out into the world. One Fresno artist grew a huge following using the power of social media, with some of his art selling out within minutes. What started as an art week with his wife, Adam Woody began creating stencils art of iconic pop characters.
So I really think this process over quarantine gave me something to do, gave me something to look forward to. I get messages pretty regularly of people thanking me for doing the project, being really appreciative of the piece that they had picked up, and I think the joy that I get out of it and the joy that other people get out of it keeps me going with it.
Woody's most recent piece sold out within 7 minutes. With tattoo shops now being able to open back up, he hopes to keep the series of stencil arts going as long as he can. To keep up with his art, check out his Instagram, @WoodyR.
Coming up on Fresno State Focus, businesses are starting to reopen. We'll take a look at how churches are adjusting to the new pandemic guidelines.
I got the Bulldog spirit up in my head.
Up in my head.
Up in my head.
I got that Bulldog spirit. Up in my head. Up in my head to say. I got that Bulldog spirit. Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Got that Bulldog spirit. Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit. Down in my toes. Down in my toes. Down in my toes, I got that Bulldog spirit. Down in my toes, hey! Down in my toes to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit. Up in my head, deep in my heart. Down in my toes, I got that Bulldog spirit. All over me to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit.
Deep in my heart.
Deep in my heart, deep in my heart. I got that Bulldog spirit.
Success. At Fresno State, it's no secret. It's discovering new ways to change our world. It's creating opportunities as diverse as our community itself. It's in the distinction of our graduates as they lead us into the future. Success is no secret at Fresno State. It's our mission.
Here in the valley, our colors are blue and our waves are red. Bulldog born and bulldog bred. Generations linked forever by traditions that have stood the test of time. Inside our stadiums, we are one. This is our valley, and this year, we're doing it for you.
With the global pandemic going on, churches around the world have either shut down or found different ways to provide services. Jamal Ahmed shows us how some Fresno County churches are still serving the community, but in different ways.
Family Community Church in Northeast Fresno is still finding ways to serve the community by adding a drive-in prayer service. It's like a fast food restaurant line or a drive-in theater. Cars are pulling in to the front, and here they're getting greeted by either a pastor or assistant pastor, and they will let you know what service to go to.
I think a lot of churches are so used to doing programming inside that this really kind of gave, for us anyways, an opportunity to just understand how important it is to reach people where they are.
Saturday was their first day of doing this drive-through. Pastor James said it was a success. A lot of cars pulled in. Other churches like VIA are using technology as their tool for higher callings. On their website, people can either join the prayer live, watch on Facebook Live, or interact through their YouTube channel. And other churches like Cross City in Northeast Fresno are holding services outside instead of inside, still practicing social distancing and celebrating their faith. Online, outside, or drive-through, just being able to come together is some offering peace, normalizing what is clearly far from normal, but the message stays the same. Have faith, we're all on this together. In Fresno, Jamal Ahmed, Fresno State Focus.
Fresno County churches are eager to open back up and have people walking into their buildings. But for now, They will try to find more creative ways until everyone can be together once again.
Some people may be stressed from COVID, but that shouldn't stop you and your children from enjoying yourselves. A mother of 2 children enjoys going to a local pumpkin patch to relax and pick out pumpkins for her family.
Elaine Mixon likes to spend time at the pumpkin patch. She's glad that even during this stressful COVID time, she and her kids can still enjoy this tradition.
Pumpkin patch is open and I can spend time with my children and we can carve pumpkins.
And do a few other things that reminds them that the world keeps on ticking.
I get to come out to spend time with my children and we get to ride horses, they get to bungee jump, rock climb.
And eat snow cones and play games like there's nothing different this year.
Pumpkin patch is important to me.
The pumpkin patch can be your new tradition as well. All you have to do is go out and have fun, but don't sit on the pumpkins.
So, see, you can still enjoy some Halloween traditions. Just remember, wear your mask.
It's time to meet more of the class of Fall 2020 Fresno State Focus family.
We have more great team members to introduce you to. Meet Julisse Graham, who is trying to get the most out of her senior year.
Hi, my name is Julisse Graham, and I've been staying busy this semester. I have 3 part-time social media managing jobs. I am also the project manager for my dad's art business. And most importantly, I am a mother of 2 and a wife. Journalism has always been a passion of mine. I have dreamed about being a news reporter since I was young. I am not sure what I'll do after graduation. I'm just taking it one day at a time.
Now let's meet Cruz Gonzalez, a senior who is trying to learn the most he can in his last semester, and is happy to be back on Fresno State Focus for a second time.
Hey, it's Cruz Gonzalez here, and this is my second time being a part of the Fresno State Focus team. Aside from the work I do here, I also work at Telemundo making commercials. Besides that, before COVID, I worked as a DJ, pumping up parties, making those a ton of fun, and I also work as an on-field MC for the Fresno Grizzlies, a AAA affiliate of the Washington Nationals. I have a huge passion for storytelling, and after I graduate this semester, I hope to look for a job as a journalist and continue that passion of storytelling. So thank you guys for getting to know me.
And next week, we'll bring you even 2 more members.
We can't wait for you to meet them. Next week on Fresno State Focus, we take a look at the services the Fresno State Mobile Health Unit, ran by nursing students, are offering to the community.
Plus, we dive into a world of esports and how Fresno State's team is competing online. Also, we get ready for homecoming, but this year, it will look a whole lot different.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.